Hey, I think there's something between if you connect Zoom on like their website so that it can add events to your calendar or whatever. It's like a separate OAuth thing from the YouTube connection
Okay.
or something. It's weird.
Huh.
Hey, we're live. So that it can add events to your calendar or whatever. It's like a separate OAuth thing. You're gonna hear me twice.
Do some good self-reflection that way.
Right. Okay, cool.
You okay if I share the link with the first team? Cool.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I think we just have, I don't know if I can give you permissions to invite people or what. Or you should have that, I think.
Okay.
But to allow people in, I set up the waiting room thing just in case we got bombarded.
Sure. Yeah, that's smart. All right.
I forget what that app was or whatever that I turned on that we can put people in those like seats.
Oh yeah. That was pretty funny.
The college auditorium thing, right?
Yeah, I don't remember how to do that now. Of course. How would you even describe that? What would that be? How would I search for that?
I think it was just a background, like a group background or something, maybe.
Yeah, group background. Immersive view. That's what it was. You
There
click
you
on
go.
view, immersive. And then we go. Beautiful.
Somebody left their iPad.
Can you reach it?
Nope.
Here, let me help you out.
I just realized if I DM people on Discord that I'm not friends with, it may. Okay, good.
Oh yeah, they'll
Have to add them as a friend. So
get a notification or whatever. Yeah, but
yeah.
they may not see it.
No, he got it.
Colin, you got a shout out in the YouTube comments for the Hamel turbo frame dilemma. Or was that the video I did on the... I can't remember. I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Sure am. No, that was someone just from the Go Rails Discord that was like posting in the Hotwire channel with some Hotwire troubles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I recently did that simple calendar update where we had like an exception to capture from a Hamel template, an ERB template inside of that, and the blocks and whatever for that was getting confused where the output buffer goes. And so I had like a Hamel capture thing and a ERB capture, and I was able to like remove all that with the instance exec recently, which worked out pretty nice. So it's like it already knows which buffer you're writing to, so it's like just magic, which was fun. But I haven't really dug into the internals of Action View maybe ever, so it's kind of cool to understand it a bit better now. But
Yeah,
it's
that's cool. Yeah,
a bit better, I feel like.
yeah. That issue was like he was trying to. I think originally he was using turbo frames and then switched to using streams to try to update different parts at different times and like past flashes. Long story short, we went back to using frames from streams, and it wasn't working for him. So I made a quick app real quick doing the exact same thing, and it was working. So we were like trying to then debug that. Turns out, I believe it was like the file name was just missing like, show.haml.erb. Like it was missing the middle piece of the file name. So like was never returning back that response. So easy fix there. But yeah, that was an interesting debug. Because I wasn't looking for a file name error at all. We were like in the logs looking at, reading stuff like, what is going on?
That's like the SSL thing I was doing the other day where it was like cert doesn't verify, but trying to find the actual file permission error was a nightmare, or almost impossible, it felt like, until strace was suggested by like 3 people. And sure enough, immediately found the issue. Let's see. I guess we can only see from YouTube how many people are watching. Although I'm not live on here. 11 watching now.
All right.
Cool. So, a tweet, and then I guess somebody starts at 6:10 for an interview.
Yeah, Help Otters is going to be joining us. Team
Oh,
name is
excellent.
TBD. I don't know, and I don't know if there are other members of the team that'll be joining as well.
Okay, cool. I guess we didn't really explain what we're doing. We're just hanging out until the hackathon starts and gonna interview some people and see what they're working on and what their background is or whatever, and just get to meet some more Rails and Ruby friends.
Yeah, that's great.
Streaming on YouTube is all Marco. And also, if anybody is streaming themselves this weekend, let us know in Discord and we'll share the link out so people can follow along too.
So out of curiosity, did either of you ever do Rails Rumble when it was around?
I think so. Like, I joined in like 2010 was when I started doing Rails, and like didn't really know what the hackathon was and stuff. And like the next year or a year after, I think I did one, but I didn't know, I wasn't good enough to actually like finish anything for the weekend, and so I like just saw it on Twitter for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really participate myself, but we did like startup weekends and weekend hackathon things in person, and that was fun. But yeah, it wasn't until a fair bit later that I ever did that. Did you do the Rails Rumble?
I never did. I thought about it. I wanted to, but I hadn't. I didn't. Missed out.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, that was before my time too. When were those? Was that like 2016 or something?
I think the
14?
last one was like 2015 or something.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I remember we looked at their website a lot last year when we were looking at rules and other things and what
Yep.
might be involved or whatever.
What's up, Jess?
So
What's
Jess,
up, everyone?
Andrew?
wait, we need to.
Andrew needs to find his seat at the desk. There he is. Andrew.
How's it going?
The immersive view is pretty great.
Yeah, right.
It's really funny.
Got some
I'm gonna
background music going?
Again.
Yep.
Hey,
I like it.
Almost feels like a classroom.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, there's Paul. Wait, we can put him in the hot seat.
Do you have a courtroom? We need like a courtroom scene for
That's
like the
what we need.
judging portion.
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Paul.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going good. Welcome.
Well, it's good to see the hackathons finally started. Been waiting all day for this.
Nice.
Well, not started yet, but close. So
The
What are you doing?
pre-party has started.
exactly.
It was good to see a couple familiar faces from RailsConf.
Yes.
I think Jeremy here. I
Yeah.
think that's you over there. Hi. I think we met back at like a post conference. Actually, I think we all met up at the bar. I think
That's
somebody
right.
put
Okay.
up like a Slack comment, just like, "Oh, hey, whoever's in the area, feel free to come by."
Right on. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So you want to tell us about your team and what you're up to this weekend?
So I'm still recruiting some new team members for our team, but before the or like a day or so ago, I met up with a couple people from bflagrant.com, and since they do, I'm a junior developer, right? I don't have much experience, but I decided to get some other people's insights of what could be helpful to the Rails community at large.
Yeah.
And we started brainstorming some ideas, and Amanda from at bflagrant came up with this really good idea of around hotwire components.
Okay.
And I think what we're going to try to aim to do is, I don't know if you guys ever use Daisy UI for Tailwind components, but we're going to try to aim to make something kind of like that. And not quite Daisy UI, but something people could go in and reference and have almost a easy semi copy pastable system to reference to of how to use Hotwire. And
That's cool.
some things comments, making a new comment appear on a post, right? That's going to be pretty common across different projects.
Yeah.
So we just want to make that available for people to use and see the different approaches that you can take to that.
Right on.
Cool. And what's the
Cool.
plan to roll that out? Is it going to be just open to everyone, or are they going to need an account, or how are you planning to deliver it?
I think just open to everyone. Just go in, they can see the code and adapt it to their own usage. But ideally, it should be mostly ready to go for whatever. And we're gonna try to carpet, trying to package it. Like I said, the comments, right? Have that as a component example. It's not necessarily going to be a component library that you install per se, but it's more of an example library of.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Those are great. Yeah. Copy paste and then massage.
Love it.
Yeah. Just, so we'll see what we could come up with, and also how to deal with the different solutions around Turbo Stream versus just dealing with just Turbo Drive and Steam Millis and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
How many other people on your team, Paul?
Currently there are 2 other members.
Okay.
We're still today's going to be the first 1 or 2 hours is going to be coordinating, and then ideally try to get at least a version of it deployed by the end of the day, mostly just to get that out of the way.
Are you staying up late tonight, or what's the strategy there?
Hopefully I'm gonna try to keep this sustainable. I don't want to white knuckle Red Bull
Kill yourself.
but yeah, we're gonna try to aim to make it a sustainable base for all of us.
That's good.
Jeremy, was that you taking a swig of a Red Bull?
No. This is
Yeah, that was
Roy.
perfect timing.
No, I'm just spectating. I don't have to put in all the hours this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, sleep out the window. We'll see.
Yeah. Where are you planning to deploy?
I was actually going to ask Chris for some Hatchbox credits if that's still open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Just send me a DM.
Will do. And also, yeah, thank you for offering that. That was That's a big plus for some of us who can't really afford it. Hey. But yeah, that's hopefully we'll get that done this weekend. And if anybody's watching this and you're still looking for a team, we still have one space open for the Club of Villainy.
Club of Villainy. Okay, yeah. And
it's a memorable team name.
Yeah, good name. Good name.
Have them DM you. Is that the best thing, Paul?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, either DM me or reply on the thread in the Discord.
Okay, sweet.
All right. Well,
awesome.
Anyways, thank you guys for hosting this.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing.
Right.
Good luck this weekend, Paul.
All right.
Yeah, good
Thank
luck.
you guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah.
Kudos to him getting out, and he said he was a junior level. Said he didn't have that much experience, but that's a perfect place to start, right? Just throw yourself right in and getting to work and putting yourself in on a team. You can learn a lot together.
Yeah, I like that he reached out to the Flagrant team too to get advice. That was a solid idea.
Yep.
Thought of that.
We got
We've
anybody
some open
next
slots
up?
still? No, we do not. So
Okay.
if anyone's listening and has a team and hasn't signed up for a interview spot, DM me on Discord, Jeremy Smith Co. We can invite you in and do a quick one here. Our next up is at 6:30 Central, the Rails Quest team. So we've got a little bit of time here. We
Cool.
can do one or two teams if anybody messages.
I like how
one of us
this
quickly.
sign-up sheet is typical of like a school sign-up sheet. Everybody wants to go last, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
But
Tweet out too.
So I'd love to hear maybe how things went last year. Chris, can you tell us about that experience?
yeah, last year was our very first time organizing it, so we just kind of like did what we thought we needed to do, and we didn't know how involved it was going to be like for us to run it.
Yeah.
But last year we had we had 123 participants and 84 teams last year, but I think 25 of them or something actually submitted an entry. A couple of those are marked as incomplete, so maybe like 23. But yeah, it was a blast. Like we kind of hung out and were there around the whole weekend as organizers, but we didn't actually sit around and code. It was me and Colin last year, and we didn't participate ourselves, but you know, it was great to see like all these people who had maybe never met go and work on something together, make friends and all that. And we learned a lot, like, you know, trying to this year pair up people who were strangers, and just like, instead of them self-organizing, we were like, okay, you two work together and whatever. And so now, you know, it's easier to go find a team this year and stuff. So we're kind of we were very impressed last year with the submissions and stuff. Like Jim Jones's call stacking turned out amazing, which he's turned into a product and stuff, which is
that's rad.
incredible.
That.
So that was super duper cool. Then our judge's favorite was the Type Fighters app, which is basically like a typing game in real time against another player.
Nice.
And you know, it like a Mortal Kombat typing game, all in Hotwire and stuff.
That's
amazing. It was fantastic. Especially felt like a hard project to build in 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, for how complex that can be and everything. And so, yeah, we were super impressed with both of those. Hot Table last year was awesome, which is like a super feature complete, like Airtable clone and stuff with Hotwire and everything. That was incredible too.
I love the app cloning idea, like as a hackathon approach.
Yeah.
You know, like, what could you do with the vanilla Rails stack to clone some other app? I think that's a cool concept.
Yeah, and it's one, like, if you're doing this to learn and just get experience, like the time constraint of 2 days means you have to just make a decision on how are we going to implement this and just pick something, and you don't have to spend too much time trying to decide what's the best way to do it. You just you got to do it. And so that, I think it helps having that constraint and just forcing you to run with some idea. And maybe it doesn't turn out to be a great idea after all, but you learn something. So yeah.
Andrew, I know you've been. Oh, go ahead, Colin.
I was gonna say, that's how it turned out. We did try it. We were gonna build like a checkers game.
Yeah,
we tinkered with that for a little bit, but that one's gonna be complicated. We bailed on that one.
It was gonna be a hot wire checkers game, wasn't it? If I remember right.
I think so.
And then we got like distracted trying to draw the checkers board and realizing like, oh, it's not as simple as just, drawing white, red, 100 times or however many in a row. It's like, well, the first row is 1, then you got to alternate off by 1 and, do that every time. And we didn't get super far because then it was like, okay, you draw the board, then you got to draw the checkers, and then you got to make sure that these are the movable spaces, and then whose turn is it, and all of that. And it was like,
while trying to manage
it doesn't
things.
seem like a hard project, but it if you haven't planned or thought through those things ahead of time, you're going to run into like, whoa, this is actually more of a challenge than I thought, for little things that you might be surprised with. So
software is hard.
Yeah.
And games are hard. Like that's a whole thing. Like if you've been building web apps forever, like I did a Tetris clone a few years back with shoes. This is several years back. And that was my first experience doing anything like that. And it was way more complicated than I expected it to be.
Yeah, and there's some like cool like nuances to Tetris too, where it's like the piece can drop, but you still have a second to like move the piece when it's on the row before it locks in. And it's like, you could definitely write your code where that wouldn't be possible. And so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Andrew, I was going to ask you, I know you've done some deep dives into AI. You think we're going to see any AI apps this weekend?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. There's still a pretty like mixed bag feeling around AI, so I'm not really sure. It'd be interesting. I would love to see it. I think it's nuts. I think if you use it in the right way, it can be it's great. So I read something the other day about like don't really necessarily ask it to like code stuff for you, but like for like architecture and like overall structure and like to think of those connections that you normally wouldn't like offhand think about. It's great. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. We'll see.
I've been using it for some of my client stuff, some features we've been doing in the last 6 months. But I was really inspired by Obi Fernandez's interview on Jason Sweat's podcast recently. He was talking about the new product he's working on, Olympia.
Magma Chat or Olympia, chat.
Magma is the first one he did, and now he's doing Olympia. And Magma is like super interesting, and I hadn't like one thing that I really had not gotten into in my work so far was like the idea of storing like basically like memory, like in the in-app memory for like things that you're getting back from OpenAI, and then using that like to continue conversations or like to enhance. That was really interesting, and also the idea of using an agent. I hadn't been doing anything. Most of what I've been doing has just been crafting prompts, and getting response back and parsing it to get certain data out or whatever.
So you haven't played with like the OpenAI functions or anything like that yet, or
no?
So I just got done playing around with that the other day. So like you can actually like basically tell it what functions in your code you want it to call and what parameters and stuff, and then when it comes back, I'll have a flag for whether it wants to call a function. Then in your app, you can call it, return whatever data you want back, and then the next prompt it will use that as like I think was it like an assistant message to build some context. So like I use it for like I had a method to calculate mileage, right? And then I had one to create an actual like booking, and then I forget what the other one was. But anyway, so the conversation would go, we'd collect this information, but if it would need like mileage to do quotes, it knew how to call those functions to grab that information. That's really cool. I've been playing with that. Another way I kind of do it is like just through the messagings, like I build prompts that like I pull in history, right? So like, and it's all, it doesn't care how your text is formatted. Like, that's what I love about it. Like any amount of structure to it, like it can figure out like what you're talking about, right? So it's really just prompting that like really good story. And then it's nuts, man. I just like, I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, I don't think anybody should be worried about your job, but it's definitely, tool in the bag, man. It's crazy. It's definitely fun.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying all of Jason's content around it. He seems to be one of the best people at really like talking through it, as he, just almost every interview nowadays is like about that. And but like, I think he's working on a book or whatever, around that content too. So that's
pretty cool. Yeah, I love that stuff. It's all new, right? So there's really no way of like, everybody's figuring out what the best way of doing it, and it's pretty cool being in that mix and watching, from the first, like, oh, this is just a completion, right? We're just completing text, to like, now we're calling functions and plugins and like all the crazy stuff with it. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so we're coming up on 6:30. Rails Quest team should be coming in shortly. Richard should be here in a minute.
So have y'all already went over the start time is at the top of the hour, correct?
Yep, almost exactly 30 minutes from now.
And then it's going to be exactly 48 hours?
Yeah, it'll end 7 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay. And then what's the process like after that? They submit their applications?
They'll submit their apps. Then we'll have probably a couple days. I think last year we did like closed voting on stuff on Wednesday, and then did a stream on Wednesday evening, and like talked to some teams, and announced, basically we gave people time to share, so you can vote. Anybody can vote on their favorites, their top 5, and then we went and collected those and made that the community favorite project. We'll have like the best solo and best team project, and probably some other fun awards at the end. But yeah, it's pretty much build 48 hours, and then we'll give it a couple days for us to review them all, because there's quite a bit to look into and stuff, and then time for people to check out each other's projects, share it, vote on things, and we will at some point in the following week, probably around Wednesday again, get back together and go through some stuff and show off the cool projects everybody does. So we'll see. There may be a lot more submissions this year, because we had 120 some people last year, and then this year's 216 participants and 108 teams as of right now. So it's quite it's almost double last year or whatever, which is great. So
man, this Ruby community likes to wait to the last minute to do stuff, don't they?
yeah,
There
is nothing wrong with that, but
just in time inventory.
Exactly, it's a feature.
Well, there's a GTP team. Maybe we'll see something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just had an idea, maybe too late this year, but maybe next year you could have a category for superlatives.
Be fun.
Here you go.
You could have the team that stayed up the longest.
Yeah.
Or the project most likely to get hacked, or what are some other good ones?
Yeah, right.
Richard, did you get the
Final
link to join the Zoom?
I DM'd him. Haven't heard back yet.
He said, not sure. Can you guys see me? How can I join? You can join with that link for Zoom on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a most no method errors. You know, define method for no class. You know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sent a friend request to Richard on Discord. Gets it.
Do.
Jeremy, how funny would it be if one of our guests showed up with a cat face?
Yeah, we are just talking about that that lawyer video with the cat. What do you call it? Like cat effect or
Filter, yeah.
filter? Yeah, that was like that meme or not meme, but like video going around a couple.
He was ready to move forward. He said, "I'm not a cat."
That's funny. Well, no word yet from Richard.
He was just asking where did you send the link to? I told him, didn't you say you sent him a friend request in Discord and then a
Yeah, I
message
DM'd
there?
him on Discord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm pretty bad at Discord though, so I guess I could have screwed something up.
We may need to, if Marco's ready, we may need to move on and then
Oh, that's a good
circle
idea.
back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right, I'll message Marco.
Oh, I think, did we just have somebody pop in?
Somebody pop in, yeah.
What are these little white things on the desk here? Is that like where we put our votes
Mm,
at the end? Drop them in the slot.
Right. Okay, Marco said Carl's joining as well. Lauren. Hey, can you hear us?
Hello. Very good to be here.
Cool. Is this everyone on the same team?
Is this the Awesome Docs team?
So I'm not on that team, but I'm just here to be able to have fun with you folks. I'll just sit and hang out. That's all.
How's it going, Marco?
What's up, Marco?
Hey,
what's
how are you?
up?
Good to
So
see
Marco
you.
and Carl, is that you too? Oh yeah, Carl. Hey.
All right, here we go.
Hi,
Oh, hey, Carl.
The Awesome Docs
hey
team.
friends.
How's it going?
What's up?
Do you guys want to maybe introduce yourselves and tell us about your team, what you're hoping to accomplish this weekend?
Right. So what we wanted to kind of tackle is the problem of the outdated, I guess, Rails docs. So if you like Google for a Rails method, you always end up on this weird website called API Doc, and I'm super annoyed by it. And I just want to have something good looking, which works the way I like it. So kind of the idea was that we built a kind of doc generator for gems or for any gem, which looks like rubyapi.org, if you know the website. I feel like it's the most and best looking website for docs for Ruby core methods, but it's just for Ruby core right now. And we are trying to, I guess, make this available for any gem or any kind of, any gem basically.
Cool. Have you sort of laid out an approach ahead of time, or are you coming into this completely fresh on the problem?
So the only
side-
thing
side?
I personally looked up was like the RDoc and Yard docs generator that exists. And the idea is maybe to either like fork that and make it look good and pretty and
Yeah.
modern, or we just go full head in and do our own generator, which does all the magic on the hood. Which I think the second approach is more fun.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I do like that API doc builds, but pretty much nothing else does, is like this method moved from this location to this location between versions. So if you're able to pull that stuff off, that will make the docs like incredible. Be so handy.
Feature requests are ready for it.
Get to work.
That's right.
Yeah, the idea is to clone that, like, I guess, all this functionality, but make it work for any gem, not just Rails and Core.
And there's none of the RDoc and Yard and stuff do that out of the box, do they?
I mean, they have some static site generator, which you can, I think, even look up on Ruby gems.org.
Yeah.
If you click on documentation. But in my opinion, it doesn't look very appealing. It looks kind of dated and old school and not modern enough to me, I feel like.
Is that the something fish it's called, right? That they have something that makes like all the HTML markup. I forget what it's called. Something fish, I can't remember now. I was looking into it a while back in RDoc they used to generate the HTML. I can't remember.
Probably have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good hint.
Tuna fish. Skullfish.
$5. Yeah,
Trout.
something. Throw them all out there. I'll tell you when I hear it.
Salmon. Sushi. No, just kidding.
Marco, so who all is on your team?
So it's Carl and me and the two guys from the Rooftop Ruby podcast. So
Yeah.
Joel Draper and Colin. What's his last name? Don't know.
Colin Donnell. Yeah.
Is that the maximum number of people you can have for?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you?
And
already
do y'all have a
figured out
game
how to-
plan? Or are y'all gonna work all through the weekend, or like go
We're
off
gonna
and
raw
on?
dog it for sure. That's the plan. Just raw
I guess we're
dog
kind of
programming.
Yeah, so we're split up between time zones. Me and Joel are over in Europe, so I guess we can do the work when they are asleep and the other way around.
Cool.
Also, Marco, it's dark fish.
Darkfish, nice. Okay, we'll look into that.
There's a lot of things about the project that are kind of exciting to me. I think that the initial and very low bar of making docs that work within a gem to make it look better and modern, that's great. I think there's a little bit more that we want to do. For example, when people reach a project and they want to use it, they're not necessarily at the same point when they want to use it. Like, it's not just the documentation of the code itself that's important, but also like the onboarding of that code. For example, if you want to have like a getting started or tutorials that talk about specific things, beginners, on board in a certain way because they have certain needs, but then people who are already using it have different needs. Excuse me. And then there's also things that you can do to make adoption easier for something like guides for specific use cases, and then walking people through those use cases. So one of the goals is to give a clear or easy way for people that are creating documentation for their stuff to provide these different data types and then expose those on the generated documentation website, whatever that is, so that it's more like it's supported more in the way that it's actually used rather than the ideal, well, I just generated docs, and there it is. You can just check out the website and all the information's there, rather than just leave it at that. It also gives people like the ability to do authorship and make editorial decisions about how to bring people onto some sort of project. So
That's cool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like when you see that perfectly written GitHub README where you just get it and you can start using it right away.
Right. Stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I think there's also like a huge problem with the Ruby community that is kind of indicative of its current demographics of how many people are very experienced with Ruby. So because they're so experienced with Ruby, all the docs are just like, oh, we just do this, and if you've been around for a long time, you're like, oh, I get that. And then if new beginners just like, I don't understand what's going on. So the goal also is to make it very easy for maintainers and these experienced folks, give them tools to provide easier onboarding for beginners. And that's like a more general mission, but creating tools to make it easier then makes it easier for other people to jump on that same bandwagon. And then conversely, easier and better looking docs means that it's easier to bring on beginners, which means Ruby grows in itself, which means we all have more jobs because more people are using Ruby. So there's a lot of benefits to the project if it becomes popular, but the very lowest bar is to make it at least a little bit easier and better looking for us to have documentations for our projects.
That's cool.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I'm curious, just a question here from the sidelines, I guess. I'm Lauren, and I'm on a different team, the Bricksters team, but is it possible to be able to have like older versions of Ruby represented? So I work sometimes on some really old code bases like Ruby 4, Rails 4 and Rails 5. Is it possible to look at like API doc? You can look kind of back at the older versions and then be able to make sense of that and see how things have changed over time or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely a plan to support it as well, because it's not necessarily Ruby versions, but I guess gem versions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant Rails versions actually.
Oh, Rails, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
That is helpful
Good
sometimes
question.
as I'm like working on ancient code, to be able to make that real.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys. I think we're running a little bit short on time. And Richard was able to pop in. Maybe we could kind of move over to Richard. Hey, welcome. And can you tell us about your team and what you're up to?
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Richard.
Hey, good to see you all.
Yeah,
great to be part of this. We put together a team in the last few days, and we're going to focus on a couple of things and see where they go. First is we're going to try to improve the better errors gem, if that's even possible,
Nice.
by adding a little bit of generative AI magic to it, and see if we can maybe throw in some more contextual information. And the second thing, if we make it through that successfully, we're going to take a look at a Ruby translator, also using like a generative AI approach, where like a beginner to Rails might be able to take some code of their language of choice and then produce the Rails or Ruby equivalent for that. So those are the two things we're looking at, and we'll see how far we get with both of them.
Awesome. That sounds good. And how many other people on your team?
We have 4 people in total. We have a guy who knows a lot about LangChain and things like that, who's really been working in Python, and a couple of other Rails guys. Get everyone's. I don't know if everybody here that's part of the team can identify themselves. Let me get you their names real quick. We have Andrew and Roman and Karandeep are the folks on our team. So
Awesome.
Are you guys all together physically?
no, just working remotely. So we got someone in Toronto, and I think there's someone in Central. I think Roman's in Central Time, and Andrew and I are both in Eastern Time. So.
Okay. It looked like you were looking around the room
Oh,
when you were announcing
I
them.
have 3 monitors. I have a couple of monitors on each side. I got a couple of different things going
Gotcha.
on. So yeah.
Well, best of luck to you guys.
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting project.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right, I think we've got 2 more teams real quick to squeeze in. Codeolution and Bricksters. Lauren, you were here as well for that. Maybe I'll grab Jonathan. Jonathan, do you want to pop in? Then Lauren, we can end with you if that's all right.
Yeah, cool.
Jonathan,
Sounds
welcome.
good.
It's Codeolution. Is that right? The team name?
I don't know if I've said the name yet, so we'll go with what you said.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're a group of 4. And we're looking to work on a GitHub issue hygiene tool.
What does that do?
So the idea behind it is there's a lot of GitHub repos where you have lots of stuff that's kind of out of date or stale, or just isn't really well formatted. I'm picturing the situation where you have persons like, hey, the button doesn't work. Like, well, I can't really do much without that. So just giving tools to kind of work with that. So we're looking to use some AI to kind of get those issues as they come in, and give prompts to kind of pull out the missing information more easily. Give tools to repo managers to be able to kind of do bulk operations on issues and keep things moving forward, or bulk close things if needed, but just kind of to manage things better.
Where did your idea come from? Was it a pain point for someone, or?
Yeah, so actually the original it originally started with Jira, because most problems start with Jira. So they were looking more so for kind of tickets coming in. Kind of where I contributed kind of a little bit of pivot there was to focus more so on the GitHub issue side, just because I expect we're going to be in the Rails community, you're going to see more gems and stuff like that are going to be using GitHub than Jira necessarily.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where. So Federico, who's on the team, is the person who originally came up with the idea, and then kind of we spitballed and kind of ended up here.
Awesome. How are you planning to break up the work this weekend?
We've done a little bit of breaking things up, but we're probably just gonna kind of tackle a few of the issues. We're gonna be setting up some issues for them, and then kind of just having people take it. I assume at this point that we're probably gonna start pivoting in different directions. There's gonna be probably a fair bit of work that's kind of figuring out the prompts and the system prompts that we're gonna be doing to kind of process things and make that work well. So we're probably going to have that kind of be one section that kind of is the focus. So person working on kind of the AI stuff. And then there's going to be a lot of hooking into the GitHub API and pushing and pulling stuff in and taking care of that stuff. So I'm expecting we're going to kind of split it off into kind of those silos.
Those integration points. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense.
How do you interface with the user?
So what we're planning on currently is that we want to keep most of it in the in GitHub issues itself.
Okay.
We're thinking there will probably be a kind of higher level administrative thing, that if you're like the repo admin, that's where you might go and have bulk operations and stuff. But so I guess kind of the idea would be you connect into our app, you connect our app to your repo, and at that point we're going to scan the issues that you currently have open, and we're going to be hooking into the webhooks to get notified of updates and new stuff. So then if you're submitting issues, if you're kind of the user in that case, you're just going to see the chat messages go back and forth and kind of have that kind of back and forth conversation there. So it's still going to stay kind of in the GitHub issues user interface.
Cool.
But if you're the admin for the repo, that's where you might kind of jump into it and kind of go into our side of things and have different interfaces where you can do stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's very cool. Well, good luck to you all. I think I'm gonna throw it over to Lauren last to talk about the Bricksters team.
Hey, thanks very much. Yeah, it's great to be here with you folks. Very interested in feedback on this one. I must confess that I'm only just going for low-hanging fruit because so I have an existing gem that does a fair amount. It's like an admin panel type thing. Automatically reads the existing database and then surfaces an admin panel, kind of like PHP admin might, for those who are familiar with like other competitive whatever, or Laravel has a solution that's similar as well. So I want to have the Rails environment be up to speed with the way that some of the admin panels exist in other comparable platforms and frameworks. So that exists, that already exists. What I'm interested to do is just add just another nugget into the mix on that. So my goal, because APIs, it seems like out like on the Reddit channel, if you read on the Rails Reddit channel and you look at some of the things over on the various different Rails discussion boards and such, that APIs are something that people care about. So right now, the Brick gem can automatically expose an API surface pretty easily, but it cannot automatically generate stuff from an existing, like the OpenAPI or Swagger documentation. So OpenAPI is a way that you can expose YAML or JSON to say, here's all my endpoints. Here's a documentation, a description for all of those guys. Imagine if you could drink those down and then from that create migration files and also a client tool to be able to grab data from any API. So that's the goal for this hackathon, is just to put that together so you can take an existing JSON or YAML spec and then just boom, you've got a Rails app, So imagine like people who haven't used Rails yet, but that they've got, like you could do this for GitHub, let's say, that's a publicly exposed and very large YAML spec or a JSON spec that's available, just open sourced. Grab that thing, pump that guy into Brick, and then boom, you've got a Rails app that's dancing, singing and dancing in minutes, So that's the goal, is to make that happen.
Cool. That sounds good. How big's your team?
It's just myself and the gal Linda, who has some interest to join then. And because I'm too much of a geek, I'm hoping that she might have a capacity to keep it very real and keep it on the level so that I don't go too nuts, I think.
Balance each other out, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yin yang, I don't know, something.
Yeah. Awesome. That sounds great. This has been really fun. We are getting close to time. We've got 8 minutes left here. Chris, did you have things that you wanted to do before we get right to the kickoff here?
I think you're muted, huh?
He has a speech written, I guess.
Yeah. No. I mean, we'll just get started here in like 7 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And, have as much fun as you want for the next 20 or 48 hours and, see what you can come up with. So if anybody has like technical questions or whatever they need help with, like you're struggling with something, like jump in our Discord. Like we've got people like myself and everybody really who's participating, like jump in, ask questions, whatever. We're here to help make it as easy as possible to, try and build some of these things you might have wanted to do for a long time and never sat down to do. So it's a good weekend to do that. But
Nice.
yeah, other than that, we do have I will drop a little thing. Amanda from the Rails Foundation sent us some swag for the winners, which is pretty awesome. So we've got like notebooks, water bottles, and stickers, I think is what will be here eventually. She's mailing it to me, then I have to mail it out to the winners. But if you need some more incentive to work this weekend, there you go. You'll get a Ruby on Rails water bottle and notebook and stickers. So yeah, I don't know, anything else you guys can think of? Colin, have we forgotten anything?
I was just going to share that if you are still looking for people to join your team, if you have one, please share the link out in the looking for a team channel. Also, I was going to ask, or just maybe we can speak a little bit about communication options for teams, right? Like we have the Discord for help and stuff, but inter team chat, I guess we have the voice channels and stuff. I don't know if we want to make rooms for the teams too.
Yeah, if you want a Discord channel to use with your team that we can, I think anybody could probably jump in and hang out with you. But if you want us to make a team for you, let us know in Discord in general or whatever, and we can make a channel for you. We can also do the voice channels too. So you can hang out there and be on a voice stream with other people. We're going to continue doing these YouTube streams for probably for another hour or something tonight, just talking about what we're going to work on as our Go Rails team. And then we'll probably do streams this weekend as well. We'll do another one at the end on Sunday, starting at 6 Central, and then going to 8 after it's finished. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, when you have something ready, go to the site, create your entry, make your submission. It doesn't have to be complete right away. You can mark it as complete when you're ready. But, deploy something so people can go see it. Even if it's just a GitHub repo, that's fine. And then vote on your favorites. When we're done, we're going to have a community favorite. So it's up to you guys to vote on your favorite projects and stuff. And that team will win the community favorite. So we'll also remind all of you afterwards, because I'm sure you'll be busy working on stuff in the meantime. But yeah, Sunday and probably a couple days after that until Wednesday, I'm guessing, is when we'll do our final wrap up and tally the votes and things. And then we'll do another stream then. And announce the winners and stuff. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just have fun.
For the team members that are here, that shared their process and stuff, especially quite a few of you have been around for a long time. Do you have any advice for people going into a hackathon like this on how to be successful?
Good question. I think it's hard to pair with 4 people on the same keyboard. So like split things up, like divvy things up. Do that sooner than later if you can figure out good boundaries where you can say this person's responsible for, like on Marco's idea, like somebody do the design, someone else do the like back end stuff, and like try to split it out into things that don't overlap too much or whatever. That usually helps a lot in the short amount of time that you've got, if you can like have some clear distinctions between who's responsible for what. That's really probably the biggest thing, I think, is being organized in that sense. But plan as much out as you can so you're not scrambling at the end and realizing like, we didn't even begin some of these things that we meant to do. That way you can at least keep them in the back of your head as like, we should stop early to go work on this and at least get the prototype of it done or whatever. So
yeah, I have not done a hackathon, but I have built quite a few little apps and things, and one of the worst things is waiting to deploy and like to try deployment until the very end.
Yes.
So deploy or integrate early and often.
Yep. If anybody wants, we'll throw some free credit on your Hatchbox account if you want to deploy your apps on Hatchbox. So just send me a message and we'll do that. You already get a 14-day free trial, so you can just use that as well. But we'll throw some extra credit your way, and I can't think of anything else. I think that's the main stuff.
Yeah,
Carl, get your hands off the keyboard. You can't write code yet.
He's trying.
Yeah, we got
1 more minute.
1 minute left.
Sorry,
Hey,
I'm
thank you,
just
folks.
joking with Marco here.
Thank you folks for putting
Richard
together
asked,
such a stellar thing. Like, it's a perfect website to organize this thing, and this is such a great thing. Thank you folks for putting it together.
Yeah.
I have as
Thank
much
you.
snacks as I can muster in my hands right now. I'm ready to
Yeah.
start.
your pallet of Red Bull behind you.
Oh man. Stop.
Richard asked if I had any DigitalOcean credit. I do. So let me know if you want that referral link too. It's like, forget, $25 or $50 or something. So Colin and Kent, the website just changed and said the hackathon has ended. So I guess that's it.
That's
We're
all
done
right.
here.
Good times.
At 7
Everyone,
p.m. you can
success.
start, even though the website says you can't.
Okay, bye friends. Well, I'll see
All
you
right.
soon.
You guys
Good
go
luck,
have fun.
guys.
Good luck, teams.
Yes, good
Yeah.
luck, everybody.
See you on the other side. Carl
Cool.
has bailed.
Yeah, we've got the website's open source, which has been, good, but you can see our very last minute changes as we're like, we built the site last year for just one event. So it's like a dedicated site to one event. And then you got to go literally undo every single piece of that app to support many events. And
Yeah.
so it's like,
Also,
many things we've realized that we've got to fix and stuff. So
yeah.
that could
Also,
be
I think
our
that
hackathon project.
well, I think you hit the edge case of when we like land on the mark, because now it says it ends in a day and 23 hours and 58 minutes.
There you
So-
go. Yeah, something in there with the countdown. Well, the countdown timer is just it's not aware of start and end.
Yeah.
So, but it probably should be.
I love that when you add a team member, like it goes and puts them into the GitHub. There's so much automation behind that you guys did. That's a cool integration.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if we used the GitHub app stuff or just GitHub OAuth. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Not a terrible little tool if you ever want to see how it's done. It's on our GitHub repo, and pretty much if you were selling something like when we sell Jumpstart Pro, it's pretty much the same thing. Like you buy a license, we invite you to the GitHub. So if anybody wants to build something similar to that, it's the same process basically.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, I was taking a look earlier. I actually scraped some of the data just to be able to have a sample, so I could have like sample data to work with and something to show for my silly API tricks as I expose and do all this API JSON business. I'll actually leverage some real data then just from team membership stuff that's here then.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Maybe our hackathon site will win that most likely to get hacked award.
Well, I wasn't able to hack it, and I didn't even try really. I only just tried to scrape it.
The project that I'm thinking about spending the weekend on is, like 4 years ago or something, when DHH was kind of playing with the Rails conductor concept of like a sort of development tool interface, because we've got the Rails routes page, the mailer previews, the action mailbox stuff. Like they're just kind of invisible and hidden away.
Yeah.
So Laravel has Telescope, which will like show you, rather than having to read through logs, which can get really messy with like hotwire streams and broadcasts and all this stuff, jobs and whatever, having an interface that we can just plug into the instrumentation built into Rails, record those things, and then, build kind of a UI that hopefully makes beginner Rails development a lot easier to get insight into, like, I made this request, I didn't even know that happened, but JavaScript did it, and whatever, it was a lazy turbo frame that did it. It's kind of what we're going to explore, and we like built a prototype or a couple prototypes a long time ago, and we're going to start from scratch and see where we can get and stuff. But I always felt like Rails needed something, like you boot up a Rails app and it's like, here's a static page with nothing to do here. And it would be nice to, especially for beginners, but even not for beginners, you can have some nice tooling or something around just being able to visualize what's going on in your app a little bit easier out of the box or something like that. So
that's cool. Huh.
We'll see how far we get.
Yeah, I like that.
That's very cool. Yeah, all of those like little cute tricks and stuff, man, that makes the platform very enduring. So I think that's high quality stuff, really.
That's like
the training environment and everything else.
Like Better Errors was that way, and then more or less we have Better Errors built in now with the web console gem and stuff. You can do pretty much everything that you could in Better Errors, and it's nice to be like, wow, this is like just the standard thing that we get.
Yeah.
It could use a little bit prettier of a design maybe, but it's also the error page for the framework, so it doesn't get a lot of love. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the Laravel community. If anybody needs inspiration for things we can port over to Rails,
I was just thinking about that. It seems like that would be a great place to just go cherry pick stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's even a theme for like another year. Would be like, what can we grab from the Laravel community that we don't have?
Full circle, because probably like 8 years ago they were doing the same thing for Rails. Like, hey, what can we cherry pick from Rails to make our thing?
Yep.
Sure do.
Yeah. I think it makes sense.
Well, I'll catch up with you folks again pretty soon.
Best of luck, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Have fun.
Thanks.
So I've never done a hackathon like this, but this does remind me of years back, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I did this thing called the 48-hour film project. It's like this sort of national
I think I've heard of
thing,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
those
really
are cool.
fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I ended up being kind of like a producer, director person, like put together a team. I had a bunch of friends that were in like an improv comedy group. So they were all the actors, and I found a videographer and an editor, and it's like Friday night we got going, wrote a script. Saturday we shot it all. Sunday we edited and submitted as quick as possible. And then they would do like film showings of all of the the final videos like the next weekend or something like that. It was very fun. Yeah, I did that a couple times.
That's super cool. Yeah, I used to do startup weekends, and it was like go build a business in a weekend, and the technical people were usually like, let's go code something, complete in a weekend. But then, there was a lot of like non-technical people, and like what I really wanted to see out of most of them was like, you go and made money before the end of the weekend or something.
Yeah.
And I forget, we won one year and built like a little marketplace for selling 3D printed items, like have designs and then have, random people who own a 3D printer go print it for you. And of course, sure enough, like there's quite a lot of sites that do that for you these days. So it was pretty cool to do that. But one of the ones that was like, I remember they had the idea of like, who remembers to go fill your propane tank for your grill? And also like, you're just driving around with a bomb in your car. Like we can go deliver to your house the propane, and we'll just make that a business. And I was like, that's a great one, because you could just call up all your friends that weekend, be like, hey, Monday, do you mind if I come by? Like $50, I'll refill your, propane tank or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, they could absolutely not build anything, just call a bunch of friends, sell them stuff, and then actually make money, that weekend or whatever. And like, that would have been incredible. So yeah, I miss those. I haven't gone to a startup weekend in forever. I don't know that they're even really that popular anymore, but those were a blast. I love those. Made some like lifelong friends from those.
Yeah.
Hopefully the hackathon here this weekend does the same for people.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
That'd be good. Have you heard of any teams from last year that are either competing again this year, same team, or other friendships that have kind of emerged from that?
Good question. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Marco's team was the same as last year or not.
I think maybe it was close. Yeah, if not.
I think it's
him
close
and Joel
at least.
were on a team last year, but now they have Colin and Carl.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, I don't remember. It's kind of hard because it's already been a year ago. So, like, yeah, time flies.
Yep. I feel it.
But, yeah, our big thing last year was kind of like, we said in Discord, okay, go. And then it was just quiet for like 2 days until the end. So it should be much more, cohesive feeling with the streams and other stuff. And I'm excited to see if Marco's team is streaming, or forget who else was going to stream, Jonathan. Just being able to like jump in and watch and see what they're doing and how they're solving problems, and, organizing things and splitting work up and whatever. It'll be a fun thing to check out. So
see how many snacks get eaten.
Yes.
I think what would be the most interesting part to me would be watching teams like probably right now, or when they are having to get together to talk, like to figure out how to break work up or how to like problem solve as a group. Like that would be the most, rather than just kind of watching someone by themselves code like on a particular aspect, like seeing like a brand new team try to suddenly form, the right kind of their own ways of deciding like who's in leadership, or who gets final say on things, or who tie breaks on things, or who defers to who for what aspects. Oh, you're the UI person, and so we'll defer to you on the design aspects. All those kind of things that have to really quickly emerge as like a team. That would be interesting to watch. That might also be like the most nerve-wracking for other people, like for the team members to like have people watch, because you're trying to navigate all of those things like on the spot. That's like usually like just thinking about like when I do client work, navigating the initial relationships with the client, or how I'm working with a brand new team. That's like the most intense part of it, is like figuring all that out at the very beginning. And then you sort of settle into certain patterns, right, of how work gets split up and how people like to communicate and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember the startup weekends were pretty great because it was like that same first night we'd just have an idea, and it would be like we'd stay up till 11 p.m. or midnight or something, just thinking about what are we going to do this weekend, who's going to do what, how do we make decisions of like scope and things like that, and who's responsible for what, who's going to decide whatever. And that can be really hard on some teams, and then other teams can have one person who's the leader, and it just makes it really easy and it just flows. But other times it can be like two leaders butting heads versus nobody wants to make any decisions, and then it just becomes kind of it's a wild thing sometimes. It's crazy sometimes, but yeah,
I think it probably does help to have one point person that's sort of like keeping everyone going, and maybe they're not dictating everything, but like they're making final decisions or getting things moving to keep to actually make progress happen.
Yes indeed. I'm trying to think of like some of the other I ended up at most of the startup weekends, after like I did one or two, I ended up just being like, oh, you know what I really enjoy is just going around to all the teams to see how they're doing things, and then for an hour or whatever, pitch in, give them advice on something or whatever, and just kind of sort of mentor or whatever. And then I get to see like all the teams and all the different dynamics, and that was a blast. So hopefully we'll be able to see some of that this weekend with people live streaming or whatever. It'll be interesting. Cool. So it's always cool, much harder remote.
Oh yeah. It'd be cool to do mentor office hours and live stream that, where teams can join, like the mentor at set time, like a set meeting time, and like work through a problem or
that's a great idea. We could do that this weekend for sure. Kind of maybe we'll just pick a time for tomorrow at like 10 a.m. or something, and then see what happens or whatever. That would be great, because if you do need the help or whatever, it can be pretty useful to have somebody else, just somebody with no skin in the game can be a fair person to give advice or whatever. But
even just feedback on what you've got so far. Is it does it look good? Is it is this what you would expect? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll have to do that for sure.
Pretty cool. I think me and Jess may be saying goodbye. Thank you for having the Indie Rails folks on. This has been really fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is a blast.
Yeah, I really appreciate letting us get on and ask some questions. It's fun to listen to the excitement, and like they know they got the whole weekend ahead of them. It's like going on a vacation and you got the whole week ahead, and so hopefully it does turn out like a vacation for them and things go well.
Yep. Fingers crossed. It's programming though, so
Don't know.
There's going to be some ups and downs.
Yeah,
for sure.
So maybe,
thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks.
Y'all did great. That was
awesome.
awesome.
Good to see you guys again.
For sure.
Yeah,
fun.
We'll catch you guys soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Bye.
See ya. Oh, let's see. Looks like we got a few little things. Some of the GitHub invites have expired for people, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm working on the home index countdown, because that one is busted. It says that one's ended over there when you logged out and you hit the home page. So I'm gonna fix that real fast.
You should share your screen and live stream it.
I should. Well, if I'm gonna do that, let me run to the bathroom first.
Don't share that though. Do.
220 teams, or 110 teams, 220 participants.
Pretty great.
Yeah,
Let's see if
awesome.
our little vote stuff, see if that's all functional now. Remove votes. Beautiful. Test project by GoRails we can remove.
Oh, also too, I just realized like I already have the pull request up. Like I'm about to merge that in. So I mean I'll share y'all hit me, hit the button.
Yeah. You can explain what it does and stuff, what was wrong, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Let me get over here.
Team 101.
I forget, did we announce to everybody in Discord that it's go time?
I don't think so. As of 19 minutes ago, it was go timer. Everybody.
All right. Publish that. Sweet. I don't know if I have to allow you to share your screen, probably.
That's possible.
Yep, there you go. You should have the share screen now. Yeah. After you do that, I'm gonna grab a piece of pizza while you're doing that, and then we should talk through the Laravel telescope equivalent for Rails and how that will work, and just kind of give people an idea of what we're gonna be building or trying to build this weekend, and go from there.
Wow, I tell you what, I thought Tuple was bad. This thing's got windows everywhere on it. That Tuple's not bad by any means.
Yeah, Tuple's
Tuple's amazing.
beautiful compared to Zoom.
I mean like the moving heads around. That's a personal problem. You know what I mean? But like this thing's got windows everywhere.
Tuple should build in like a streaming feature. That would be cool, especially if they do like the Teams feature thing they're talking about, like in that last email they sent out. That would definitely be like a cool thing.
Yeah. If anybody at Tuple's listening, if I could just shrink those heads a little bit smaller, it'd be awesome. Like they're almost there. A little bit smaller would be cool. Yeah, though. So apparently on the live site, when you're not signed in and you land on this homepage, this is the unauthenticated route here, right? According to this hackathon is over. So thanks for showing up. It was a successful adventure for everyone. So yeah, so I adjusted the code here to use the logic from the banner that we have across everywhere. So like when you log in, actually you see it right there at the top across every page, it actually has the right logic to it. And when the event is like in the future, so like it hasn't started yet, this is actually like a link. So you can click to the, what's the site called? Like every time zone thing. So that it'll take, whatever time we set this thing to start and do the conversion for you so that you know the exact time of when it starts. So I went and grabbed that, and like any good developer, just copy and pasted that in to the right spot on the homepage. But we probably need to yank this out into a helper and then clean that up so don't have this duplicated. Right now, it's only in the two places. It's only here and then in the application layout. So yeah, we probably just need to extract that and make a nice little helper so we don't have that everywhere. But not the worst thing in the world. So yeah, that's pretty much it there. You can see here, so like if it links to, if we use that handy dandy thing that will trip you up sometimes. So we use that to, basically set it, like make it a link if this event is in the future. Otherwise it's just there for, purely text. So that is that. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the button and hopefully not crash and burn this thing. So yeah, that's that. Also, I think we mentioned this too. Like this whole thing is open source. So if anybody kind of watching the stream and or participating in the hackathon, or after this is over, if you're tinkering around on the site and you notice something, feel free to, send us a PR. PR is welcome, as with most open source projects. So yeah. That's about it for this little venture. Hopefully. Hey. All right. So we have a proper count down now. Kent, how's that weather in small town Canada? I think you're muted. I think you're muted, Kent.
Yep. He's gone.
Going pecan.
Yeah.
Must be really, it looked like a chilly night out there in small town Canada.
Yeah, right. I was about to ask him how's life in the city.
I think he lives somewhat in the city already. I think, I'm not sure. I know he's got a wooded area close to him, but I think it's just like a very wooded park. Bro, use readme update. It's like stock. Oh yeah, and I remember last year we did get some people contributing. I remember Moses contributed some stuff early on. I think this was pre hackathon event last year that these folks contributed.
What was the total last year? How many teams? Oh, I guess I can look at it.
84 teams, 124 developers, 104 developers. Something. 123, 84 teams.
Yeah, I must have hired more people.
Yep. I guess I could take a moment and kind of walk through the site here for folks. So you could sign up. You don't have to participate to sign up, or you don't have to sign up to participate, but you do if you would like to vote at the end of this whole thing. So you're more than welcome to be a spectator. But if you want to cast a vote or several votes, I believe last year we had a maximum of 5 entries that you could vote for. So you can do that. You can pick your 5 things and you can order them by like, this is the one I like the most. So, you know,
Sweet.
the lesser. And then, so yeah, so if you sign up, you get brought to like your dashboard page here. You can create a team if you want. Otherwise, you can kind of browse around. If you go over to the overview page, you kind of just get a quick view of, you know, the teams and entries. And then you can view them all by popping over here and go through all the list here and see, you know, a lot of people have been putting their time zones in, so you see where all the teams are based out of. Now, I do know that this is probably not exact because I know there's a team in here 4 zones, so they just put UTC, but they picked that name because they're all, you know, in 4 different time zones. So yeah, but you can see kind of everybody. You hover over them, you can kind of catch names and stuff. And then these should take you to their GitHub pages if you want to learn more info about them. So again, teams, you can get there this way too. This little sub nav. This is kind of scoped to whatever event you're looking at. You can see the entries, rules for the event, resources, votes, which we don't have yet. You'll be able to see the leaderboard. As you can see right now, we have a few, but you know, they're all tied. They're all tied at 0 points here. And then eventually we'll have a winners page. So that's pretty much the flow. You can go, if you go to all events, you can go look at last year's stuff. You can go back here and look at the winners from last year and see some stuff about that. Type Fighters was super fun. Chris and I had a lot of joy playing that one. This is the one Chris was talking to earlier when we started the stream about Jim Jones here, that he has actually turned into like a little business for himself there. And then this was the Airtable clone that Joel Draper and Marco Roth, and forgive me, but I forget the last person on their team. I believe they were a team of 3. Steven. Yes. Okay. Cool. Margheim. If I said that wrong, please forgive me. Yeah, they did a hell of a job in 48 hours.
Yeah.
And Marco said they open source this one, so anyone out there in Radio Land that's still watching this stream, you know, you can go check this out on their GitHub, I believe, which you can get to just going looking at the actual entry, and then you can click view on GitHub and go check out all the code there. I imagine they're not running the application anymore, so this is probably but towards the end of this thing, once people start marking entries as complete, you can, you know, go click view application, and if it's, you know, out there and deployed, you can go tinker with it and stuff, hopefully, or go view the source code. If there's something interesting that you see an app doing, you can go try and figure out how they did it. I guess I didn't go into the detail on the entries show page here. So like if you go to entries, you can click on an entry, right? And then let's go back to that one, actually, the hot table, because it had a lot of info there. But you'll see a nice write-up description about the application, and then you see the info about the team again, which you can click and get to the team. And then they list out all the tools and tech that they use to build it. And then hopefully some screenshots are attached, so you can check all this stuff out per entry here, which is pretty awesome.
Good job of that. Yeah.
Yep, they did a good job. I don't know how they did it in 48 hours, but pretty impressive. Let me see. Check Discord here. I got some stuff coming in. Let's see. Oh, we're still live on YouTube. Can I get to the link from here? Nope, I guess not. Watch screen sharing.
Yeah, the YouTube link.
I could probably get to it. I'm thinking from history. Here we go. We got 15 people watching now. Of course, here it is, the classic comment. I had no idea Kylo Ren was a Rubius. Never fails.
Yep, that's good.
Let's see here. Let's see. With the film, what should I say? Like with the film unions on strike or whatever, work's drying up. You got to diversify.
Right. Yeah, right. We're on strike. Leave me alone.
It says there's 20 people still watching the stream here. That's cool. I know we got this tunnel rabbit hole vision stream on YouTube here, but I think we're just gonna have to deal with it momentarily, folks. While I keep oh, you know what I could do? Move tab to new window. And then I could shrink this and just do this little situation here. That way I can see the chat. Resize. Cool.
What is this nonsense?
Well, I'm trying to keep the show moving along here. So we went through the PR thing and merged it. And then I did a walkthrough of the site and just kind of, try to show people how to flow around and check things out and all that. Talked about, you can sign up and not participate, and just like cast votes and stuff. Yeah, just kind of that talk. And then I decided to pop over to the YouTube stream here and check the chat over there because I totally forgot that was still going on. So don't want to leave those folks hanging over there.
Nice.
We got 21 watching live over there right now.
I'm gonna take a break and go take Ruby out real quick. I'll be right back.
See you in a minute.
Of course, some person over here dropped the famous comment about I had no idea Kylo Ren was a Rubius. So
it's true. Yep. I think something useful to explain would be like, last year we built the Rails Hackathon site and we just made it quick and dirty for version 1 for the single event, which teed up a lot of technical debt, which we had to rewrite pretty much the whole dang site. And I thought that would be a good one for you to talk about just because I think it's a common mistake to make. You're in a rush. You're like not sure what you need, whatever. And you end up making that decision and then realize that if you write it to support many things ahead of time,
from the start,
save yourself. You'll save yourself an insane amount of time.
Yeah, because that's a good point, a good talking point. Yeah, because initially, like Chris said, we only wrote it for the one event that we did last year. So because
we didn't know we were going to do a second one or anything like that.
So
there's a lot of reasons we gave ourselves that were like, let's just do it quick and dirty.
Yeah, we definitely were looking for the escape hatch the easy way. But it's an interesting thought too, because you always hear the notion of don't write code that you don't know that you need yet. But I think this was a situation where we probably could have not followed that rule. Like we probably should have on the front end of this prepared for future events, but learning experience, But yeah, so the last, I don't know, I guess what month, probably something like that. Kent and I have been like redoing this to get it queued up to be able to have so like we could run mini events every year if we wanted to going forward. But we ended up, that entailed we had to, introduce an event model. And then we can go poke around at that actually. So we pop over here in the app, we drop into models here. And again, I'll just reiterate, I said it already, but this whole thing's open source. So feel free to go poke around in here. All you fine folks out there in Radio Land. And if you want to contribute something, go for it. So we introduced this event model. And then when we did this, we had to convert a lot of routes to use a nested routing structure here so that we can easily like scope everything to the events. But then we also had to do some redirects of the old routes so that the old links that people shared were not broken, since those are out there in the world already, and people still access them if they come across them. So that was a thing as well. Let's see, some of the fun code in here. There's some fun stuff in here that I like. Like a lot of these, I think Kent and I did a video on these, but like these helpers for like checking, date times if in the future, like this future question mark or past question mark, these predicates here. These are ones that are built into Rails already that you can just use so that you don't have to end up doing all that, gnarly logic of, greater than or less than, or even before or after predicates, because those are nice too. But these, I think, are even cleaner and simpler. Although at times they will get you still. I think time just in general is just hard to deal with.
Yeah, for real.
Let's see. So we introduced the event model here and then set up some new associations for that. So that we can go through things easily. The route stuff, let's pop over there. Let's see what we had to do there.
That was an interesting one because everything was / votes, winners, leaders, leaderboard, winners,
that nice top level
teams,
right?
And all of those no longer will work because they need to be scoped under an event.
Yep. So you can see here how it reflects the changes. These used to all live at the top level of things, and now everything is nested under events. And then like I was alluding to a moment ago, the old URLs that are floating around the world, we still want to support those. So then we had to do a big block of redirects for the event that we did last year. So when we made the event model, we had to, go back and create that database record for last year's event, and then, do data migrations to add that stuff in for all the teams and everything, so that all the existing data was properly scoped for the future of how this application is going to function. So that was another piece of the puzzle here of getting this all sorted out. And it's a lot of work to go and do after the fact for sure. And as we saw earlier, things get missed in like these kind of moments. I feel like, because it's just so many pieces that you're touching to try and get back correct. Yes, Kent, we are still on. Kent was trying to speak, and his mic was still plugged into his old monitor, and when he disconnected, it all shut down, so he got booted. So you might need to let him back in here.
Yep.
But so you do these nestings here, and that's all well and good and all, but then you realize, like, Oh my God, all the URL helpers we have everywhere are now busted. Like we have to go through everything and change it all and get it all matching
And you
up
still
right.
want to
And
preserve those links from last year because
right,
people
that's
have
what I was saying
linked
about
to
this.
/winners. And
Yep.
then you got on top of that, you got to edit every single view, every single controller, redirect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moving the actual controller files under the proper, folder structure too. Like all that has to change.
I wonder if somebody could build this weekend. I wonder if they could build a
What's this empty? Can I draw on this?
refactoring feature where you move the routes and it goes and scans your views and controllers and helpers for that. You're able to predict what Rails would generate as the routing helper. So you should be able to analyze the routes. If we move this from here to there, this is the edits we would need to do in our controllers and views and helpers. I bet that's
That would
possible.
be sweet.
That would be
Why is
super
the
cool.
That would be super sweet.
resource move only and then an empty array?
Because it doesn't have any of the like restful actions to it. It's just these two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that could probably be like a.
I honestly, I didn't. I'm not
It's
trying to
mostly
say
it's mostly just to namespace under move. So you could absolutely, it probably makes more sense to just say namespace move and then have like a scope like module for votes and tell it which controller to put patch up and down for. Yeah, because the move is all being applied to the votes individually, and so it's like votes /1/move/up and move/down, and so kind of like how you have the ID in as a dynamic value for votes, it's sort of like treating the same thing for the direction of the move as up or down. Probably could be defined a little bit simpler instead of the resource helper, which doesn't really it's not really needed here at all, other than it's setting the controller as a value there for the patch. Probably someone can submit a PR to refactor that and clean it up.
Unrelated note, I see we have already 3 people in the general voice channel in Discord there. If anybody wants, I don't know what's going on over there. Somebody's saying
looks like Paul's streaming.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah, if anybody wants to share their Twitch or YouTube live streams as well, please do let us know.
Let's see what else. What's over here?
We got a Hello World entry. Website URL is localhost 3000.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. It's just like placeholder, you know. I wonder if I can do this. 1 second. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we can't see your.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somehow
they can't see. Oh, I'm
Zoom
in streamer mode on Discord. I think is what
of
it
course.
is. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry,
Must
I'm
do
talking.
some magic for that.
I got 2 groups I'm talking to. I got the people on Zoom here I'm talking to, and I got Discord stream going on here. Yeah, no, cool. I happened to see I saw that some folks were in the voice channel here and streaming, so I was just like, let me pop in and see what's going on there. So cool, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, cool. Excellent. I love it. They're doing a little reconnaissance over here in Discord. Excellent. Very cool. Well, I won't distract y'all any further. I'll get out of here so y'all can do y'all's thing. But that's cool that I appreciate y'all streaming like that. That's awesome. And hopefully we see some other folks doing it too throughout the event here. Yeah, totally. Yep. Love it. Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll check back in with y'all later on, and best of luck to y'all. Cool. Y'all take care. I just realized as I hung up off of there, I think that's Dominic in there, who is my scholar from RailsConf.
I was going to ask, wasn't that who was?
Oh, cool.
The first team we interviewed, didn't he? He's a junior developer, and didn't he give a talk at RailsConf? I believe he did the. I forget what they call it, but the
lightning talks.
Talk. Yeah. I believe he did one of those too.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I like seeing, especially going to like the first one, and then seeing them out like inside the community, like type, bro. It's cool. It's cool seeing it like that.
Yeah, I didn't put it together until I heard him saying goodbye, Colin, at the end right there, and I was like, as soon as I hit disconnect, I was like, I knew that voice. It's got to be him. Let's see. Cool. Well, I might take a few and get myself some dinner now.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap. We'll probably come back tomorrow and explain what we're gonna work on, but I think I might take it easy tonight. Just make sure everything is running smoothly for everybody else. But
yep, I'll keep an eye on things as well.
Yeah. Looking good. Good luck, everybody. Have fun.
Oh, yeah.
If you need anything, we're in Discord in general. Ping any one of us, Colin, me, Kent, and Andrew, or any of the organizers or mentors up there will be able to help or whatever, or point you in the right direction or the person to talk to. So, sounds good. Good luck. Yeah. Talk to you all tomorrow.
Alrighty. Signing off.
See you all later.
Sayonara.